Paul, ready? Okay, I'd like to call the New Hartford Public Schools Board of Education regular meeting today, May 18th at 7 p.m. to order. This meeting is being live streamed on YouTube. So we are getting away from Zoom and we are going to a live stream on YouTube. This will be recorded tonight, will be available for the public to view as well. But we're excited to be back in person. I think I speak on behalf of the board when I say it's great to be back with people and faces in front of us. So we're excited. With that said, we'll get started, and I'll ask everybody to stand as we recite the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. I have no changes at this point, so we will roll right into the superintendent's report with Brian.
Thank you, Tim. Good evening, everyone. Before I start, I'd like to thank Paul Carmen, the district's technology specialist, for spearheading and planning for tonight. A lot went into it. Paul, thank you very much. Excellent job. Also, Heather Mathis as well, our curriculum coordinator, will be helping as we move forward with the live streaming on YouTube. Also, a special thanks to Linda Fitzgerald, who really helped us and spearheaded us and managed all of the virtual meetings over the last several months. So I'd like to thank Linda at this time for a wonderful job as well. I'm very pleased to announce the two sixth grade winners of the Superintendent Awards. Patrick Brett, Jillian Quinto. They're excellent representatives of our school district, the Antolini School. This is a very prestigious award given for academic excellence, leadership, and community spirit. You were chosen by your sixth grade teachers, and I'm so proud to give you this certificate. Unfortunately, the Litchfield County Superintendent Association usually has a banquet. Unfortunately, we could not do that this year. I will be sending a video, taped video, to the parents tomorrow as far as the video, taped video presentation. So at this time, Catherine Boughton-Harris from the Republican American newspaper. If we could have Jillian and Patrick come up here and take a picture for the newspaper. And then Penny Miller, who does a fantastic job with their yearbook, would like to take a picture with Jillian, Patrick, the parents, and myself. So Patrick and Jillian, step up.
Go ahead.
Kelly,
Yeah.
he's going to have him turn around.
Oh, good. Picture.
Oh, I know.
I don't know.
Do we have to bend down? So the lady in the back. Okay. Now you're turning around?
Old family picture.
Okay, you got to squish a little bit. Oh, I'll do those first. Brian, look at me, please.
Yeah.
Okay, and then,
Of course.
whoops, wrong way.
Okay, smile.
Good,
Okay,
thanks.
got it.
If you don't mind, could you send me yours, please? Absolutely. In case mine's in contact.
Yep.
Thanks.
I'll go through them because I took a bunch.
Okay.
The next part of the agenda refers to the district newsletter. So we do send this out twice a year. We'll be emailing the newsletter, highlighting all the activities and the great programs going on in the New Hartford Public Schools that I'll be emailed to all parents and staff tomorrow. Also be placed on our website. Special thanks to Linda Fitzgerald once again for putting this together, and also the administrative team who's here tonight as far as developing those articles and your leadership. So we're very proud of that, highlighting, communicating with all of our stakeholders. So I just want to inform the board about that.
Brian,
Yes.
is there a way we can send that out to the town as we did in the past?
Absolutely, yes.
Okay, thank you.
Next part of our agenda is the Oak Hill lease. So we've been partnering with the Oak Hill School for many years here in New Hartford as a part of the fabric of the New Hartford Public Schools here, and also Antolini School. There was a great recommendation made by a board member last spring as far as perhaps to extending it beyond 1 year. So I'm proposing to the board this year for a 3-year lease to partner with Oak Hill. In addition, I'm pleased to tell you that the lease has increased by $5,000. So it went from $132,000 this year. It'll be $137 next year, $137 the year after, and $137 year 3. So it's not going up $5,000 each year, but it is increasing $5,000. So I'd like to have a motion to approve the 3-year lease with the Oak Hill School.
I'll make that motion.
Thank
I'll
you.
second. Tim with the second. Is there discussion on this?
What was it? Oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I was going to ask Brian, what initiated or what caused the 5,000 increase? Was that something we requested or?
It's something I requested. And I'm pleased to say it's gone up the last few years because I've worked with Oak Hill to increase the lease.
Good.
I was just gonna ask what it went up every year prior to the 5. That's all.
So I went up about 15,000 a few years ago.
And it's for 3 classrooms, right?
It is for 3 classrooms, yes.
Have they asked if they could have additional classrooms?
They have not
Okay.
at this time.
They have a full roster of children?
Yes.
Okay. Good. It's a good program.
Excellent program, yes.
Brian, for the 3-year lease, are we able to break that if we need the space?
Yes, we can.
Okay.
We can do that.
And are they able to expand off of that classroom, 3 classrooms, obviously for more money, but is there a clause in there that would allow them to expand if they asked and if we had the space?
Yes, we have to approve it, but yes.
Okay.
Brian, is there a director of that program who is in the schools? Or
Yes, they have a supervisor here, yes.
is there someone who can come and present the program to the board to give us more of a feeling for what they do and how our kids interact with them? And it'd be good to educate the board a little bit
Sure,
on what the 3 classrooms are being utilized for.
sure,
I mean, maybe I'm naive, but I don't know.
sure, no problem.
Any further questions or discussion?
Was that $5,000 included in the budget that was just passed for the upcoming year?
Yes, so Heather, that goes directly to the town, so it's not part of our operating budget.
Gotcha.
Any further questions or discussion? Motion is on the floor to approve a 3-year lease for Oak Hill School with an increase of $5,000. Is there any other discussion or questions? There was a second. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
It is unanimous.
Thank you.
Thanks, Brian.
You're welcome. So the final part of the superintendent's agenda tonight is the project playground update. So I'm very pleased and proud to introduce Jessica Chakowski. Jessica is the chairperson of the project playground committee. She's completed her Herculean efforts with the playground committee the last several years, fundraising, working, planning, and now we're in the final stages as far as installing. And we're so excited. Jessica will update you as far as when the playgrounds will be installed. Hopefully here in June, but there could be some updated information as far as that's concerned. But Jessica, thank you very much. Excellent job. We cannot thank you enough. And I've always say, you do not have no in your vocabulary. So at this time, I'd like to introduce Jessica Chakowski. Jessica.
Jessica, use the mic, please. I know.
We know you don't need it, but.
I don't. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Brian.
You're welcome.
So we just held our last fundraiser this past weekend, last weekend, 2 weekends ago, May 8th. And we have at this point raised all of the money that we need to raise to be able to install these playgrounds, including adding sunshades and tables to each school so that the children will have the ability to eat outside or read outside or have snack outside. And they will be permanent structures that are placed at the schools. The issue that we have now been faced with is Play World, which is the manufacturing company that our play equipment is being built by, had a $4.5 million fire about a week and a half ago. And lots of damage has happened. At this point, Play World is getting back to work this week, but they're still trying to figure out what current orders they have didn't quite get fulfilled. So their job this week and next week is fulfilling and figuring out what they need to fulfill before they can give us a date. Their turnaround time is about 3 to 4 weeks, so we're still pretty confident that we'll be installing before the beginning of this school year. They know that we're a priority because we've got 2 playgrounds that we're installing, and they know that we're ready and eager. So that is still going to happen. You know, again, we're a little bit on a delay, and unfortunately, I don't have specific dates at this time. I hope to as soon as possible and have, will continue to keep everybody in the loop as soon as I do. The one thing that we're kind of currently doing up until this coming Friday is we're selling the paws that are going to be put on the fence. Not a lot of people have actually physically seen these. This is just a black one, but they're going to be in different colors, and they're going to line the fence of both schools. Parents have the opportunity to put what school they want their paw at, what they want to have placed on it, and then people get them put on the playground. Some parents have even offered to say, can I please come when the paws get put on so my child can put their paw on? So I will be reaching out to people as I have everyone's contact information. But I do have a couple of flyers that are left. Some teachers have purchased paws. I'm just throwing that out there for any teachers that would like to support their schools. Some teachers have purchased paws to put their family's name on to support us as well. So I will leave that. But we're trying to get those in by the end of this week so that we have them made and created so that when we put these playgrounds in, we can immediately put them in. Any questions?
How much are the paws?
They are $100.
Okay, thank you.
And these are, I've actually delivered this to our fencing person so they know exactly what they need to put on it. And this is the same material that sponsored, signs and stuff are built out of. So this is going to last forever. Just like those playgrounds.
Great. Any questions for Jess?
Great job, Jessica. Thank you.
Nice work.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks, Jess.
Yeah. Round of applause.
Thank you, Jessica. It'll be a wonderful opportunity for the kids in New Hartford, as you always remind me, and the community at large. So excellent job. There's also, you have pictures of the both playgrounds that'll be installed in front of you. You can take a look at your convenience there. But thank you, Tim.
Okay. Thank you, Brian.
Good luck.
With that, we will move into public comment / communication to the board. I did not receive any communication. Brian, did you receive any?
I did not know.
So is there anybody that would like to speak here tonight? Oh, boy.
You asked for it.
We might recognize those girls.
Yes, we do.
Hi, I'm Julia Goff, I was up in Jersey out here.
I'm Ryan Monkey and I live on 902 Lane.
We want to thank Mr. Murphy, every teacher and staff member at the Hartford Public Schools, and the Board of Education, especially our parents. Thank you, Dad,
Thank you.
for making these past 6 years amazing ones that we'll never forget.
We're ready to go to regional and no one is ready more than our friend Jill. Me and Julia both moved here in first grade. We had no friends, but Julia went out of her way to become our friend. Congratulations, Jill, on your huge accomplishment. We can't wait to see what you do at regional or whatever Ivy League school you choose.
Nice job, ladies. Is there anybody else that would like to speak tonight? Carrie? I know, right?
So cute.
And also the person I've spoken live since last year.
It's nice, right?
Yeah, it's weird, actually. So Carrie Gilfillips, 251 Cedar Lane. It's my understanding that the COVID restrictions that were put in place expired in January of 2024. I am imploring the board to remove these masks for these children. Please, they are the least affected by COVID as a disease, and I think the most affected by these families that live in place. So please reconsider taking masks off these children as they support tomorrow for the rest of the world. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Carrie.
Is there anyone else that would like to speak tonight? Going once, going twice? Okay, thank you, everybody. From there, we will move on to the consent agenda. Brian, do you have anything you'd like to add to the consent agenda?
Yes. I'd like to say a few words under personnel.
Sure.
So I regret to inform the board that Betsy LaValle will be retiring at the end of this school year. She is a 13-year special education teacher at New Hartford Elementary School, so we wish her all the best in retirement. She was a wonderful role model for all the students here in New Hartford. I also regret to inform the board that Cindy Johnson, an interventionist at Antolini School, will be retiring at the end of this current school year. We wish Cindy all the best in her retirement. She was such a wonderful asset, such a role model for all the kids here in New Hartford, and we wish her all that. And finally, Jessica Foskett, who is a music teacher at all three schools, will be leaving us for an increased position in another school district. So we wish Jessica all the best. Thank you, Tim.
Okay. Mary?
I had just one change to the minutes, Ken, and I'm listed as being present at the last meeting, and I was not here.
Okay. Laura, if we could correct that. And Penny, you were on Zoom, correct?
Yes,
Okay.
but you really need a motion in order to change the minutes.
Yeah, we will.
Okay.
So if we can mark Penny was virtual and mark Mary as absent. Is there any other changes to the agenda or the minutes from last meeting? Okay. Hearing none, is there a motion to approve the minutes from last meeting with said changes?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Tom, Heather? Yeah, Tom.
Okay.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstained? Thank you, Mary. Mary abstained from that. And on behalf of the Board of Ed, I'd like to send our best to Mrs. LaValle and Mrs. Johnson for their many years of service to our school district.
Thank you.
Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Tom, second. All those in favor? Aye. It's unanimous. Thank you. Okay, from there, we move into reports, and we have plant facility and transportation with Mr. Buzzy to start.
Thank you, Tim. Brian sent out an RFP to public request for proposal for our bus contract coming up as DACO will expire, or it will expire in a couple of weeks. He sent it to several, well, it was public, so anyone could have responded, but he also made some calls to people that he knew would possibly be interested. The long and short of it is that we received only one bid from DATCO, despite soliciting other bids. There are various reasons that Brian was pulled, and if he wants to elaborate, he can, but some people were not interested for a number of reasons. You want to expand that a little bit, Brian, or no?
Just that it wasn't the right time to bid for our bus contract at this time.
So that being said, datco presented us with a 4-year proposal and a 5-year proposal. The 5-year proposal obviously came with a savings on the 5th year of $125,882 as a carrot to get us on the 5-year plan rather than the 4-year plan. That the 4-year plan would align us with the Regional 7 bus contract. If we were on the 5-year plan, we would again be off the regional and would give us less buying power with other companies who could potentially be interested in contracting with us. So as the Transportation Committee met, we discussed that possibility and we decided to recommend to the board going with the 4-year plan despite the missing out on the savings of $125,000, which is a 5.2% loss, I'll say a loss. However, I think there's a potential to get a competitive bid that we would save that 5.2% after the 4-year contract. And you can also maybe potentially negotiate a little bit better than that afterwards. So I think there's the upside is I think we'll save more than 5%, in my opinion, and our position was that we could potentially save more than the 5.2% with a more competitive bidding process. So we're recommending the board approve the 4-year plan, the 4-year contract with DECO, which would be $2,424,135. That's about the long and short of it. Any questions?
How much more is the new contract compared to the old contract yearly? What are we paying now yearly to them?
So for next year, Penny, that line item is up to $11,000. That's the difference.
So we're getting charged
What-
$11,000 more.
Yes, but what's budgeted for and what we'll be agreeing to.
So they had an
4-year
increase.
contract. Yes,
So we'll have to make up
right.
the $11,000 for the next,
Well, for next year.
for a total of $44,000.
Well,
for 4
$11,000
years.
just next year, then each year we'll budget appropriately.
Okay, oh, that's right. There's no way you can get them to come down in pricing?
No.
We
And no-
bid, sorry, go ahead.
No one else bid?
No one else bid.
No, we talked about potentially resoliciting, but you run the risk of DATCO realizing that we're running out of bid again, and they could say, okay, well then my price is going up 50,000. If you don't like it now, here's my new price. So there was the upside of rebidding didn't seem to outweigh the potential of getting
Right.
hammered even more, but I'm not sure they would do that. But I'm just saying there's always that potential.
I'm surprised that no other bus company would want to bid. I wonder what the reason is. Why
We were surprised too, yes.
aren't they bidding? I mean,
We'd speculate, right? So as the committee, when we've met, as a subcommittee, when we met, again, we'd be speculating why no
Right.
one else bid, right? So, and our opinion was, if we can align with regional,
Yeah.
maybe there's more opportunity.
Oh, yeah.
Right, so
I agree.
we thought as a subcommittee that it made sense to align it, to have potential more buying power. And you had asked again, can you go to a mass and move it down? Public bidding is what it is. There's no
Right.
negotiation.
And we can make up the 11,000 this coming year, you think?
Yes, I do.
Someplace?
Yes.
Okay.
Tom, what were the annual increases for the 4-year? I'm sorry, I was listening and not listening well. I didn't write it down. Or you just ramble them off so fast.
I mean,
For the 4-year.
well, this year is $11,000 more than we budgeted, but I'm not sure if we budgeted more than what we were paying, Brian. That's a question. I don't have that answer. But
But I mean, the percent increases, what were they? Before?
so
It's on the sheet.
it's a 3% increase. Option 2 is the, no, I'm sorry, it's a 5% increase this contract year, 3.5, 3.5, 3.5, if we go with the 4-year plan. And the other one is a 3%, it's a 0% increase next year, and a 3-3-3-3 for the other years.
Brian, I know that when we say regional, I mean, that's the other towns, right?
We mean Region 7.
Right. But I know the towns, various towns use different services at
That's
this
right.
point.
Yes.
Is there going to be a consolidated effort to get together to?
Not with every town. It's just Region 7 who uses DATCO for the New Hartford kids and here in New Hartford, because all the rest of the contracts are all different years.
Gotcha. I was confused about that. So it's not the other towns, it's just
Right.
our services at regional.
That's right.
Okay,
Correct.
Gotcha.
That would be a good thing to do, though, get all the other towns in.
Yes. But just look how difficult it is just to get in New Hartford.
Yeah, I
and
know,
Region 7.
I'm not sure they can even support that many buses.
Right.
That's a big company. I'm not sure how big that is, but it'd be a lot of buses.
Any further questions for Tom or for Brian regarding the DATCO bus contract? So is there a motion to approve?
Motion to approve a 4-year contract with DATCO for $2,424,135.
Second.
Motion on the floor with a second. Any further discussion or questions?
I guess, we don't really know, but how much more leverage will we have with regional included in there? I mean, I assume their contract is similar. Brian, I don't know if you know what they're paying. I assume it's in line or similar to what we're paying.
It's similar, yes.
I mean, we may not get any more people bidding.
Right.
I mean, I don't know what's out there in the bus world. I mean, who knows what kind of,
But it definitely gives us better chances,
I
right?
would say, I would think so.
Tom and Tim said as far as number, yes.
I mean, at a minimum, you would think that you're going to have DATCO and you're going to have Region 7's current bus contract.
I am under the impression that the reason they dangled that carrot for that 5th year is they did not want to get us on the same cycle as regional for that reason. So as much as it's a difficult decision to make to spend more money on a shorter contract, right?
Well, we may not be spending more money
In the long run,
in the long run.
yeah. So,
And if you delay the decision, you're going to continue to have increases. If you did this in 4 years, you're going to be in the same position.
I think it's worth rolling the dice on, in the hopes that in 4 years we can negotiate and have a little bit more leverage.
Is this for the same amount, a number of buses that we're currently using?
Yes.
And if there's an influx and we need to add a bus, is there an addendum to the contract where they would then add on, or would this encompass?
No, it's an add-on if there's additional bus, yes.
And same thing if they would decrease?
At this time, no. That's not part of the contract.
So do we pay per bus, Brian,
Yes, we pay per bus, yes,
currently?
yes.
The new contract would be the same?
They removed that, as far as if we reduce it by a bus. Of course, if we add it, we have to pay for additional bus.
And what did the RFP read?
I have to take a look at that as far as that specific language.
So I guess that's a question for the subcommittee is, did we discuss this pay per bus thing? And they're removing it from the contract. Is that something we're comfortable with approving?
I'm sorry, what was the paid for bus?
Pay per bus.
Oh, paid per bus.
So currently we pay per bus. So this year we took a bus away, right? And we saved some money, right? So the question is if, I don't know, COVID-2 comes around and nobody's riding the bus,
we're paying for that extra bus or two, even if we're not running it, correct?
Well, no,
I mean, we'll run it, but there could be two kids on it.
yeah.
Well, that's what we had this year, unfortunately. They're empty the whole year.
And that was with one bus eliminated. So I guess the question is, are we comfortable with approving that? Was there any other changes, Brian, major changes that would cost us?
No.
No.
So we're not paying per bus with this new contract?
We are, but if we reduce it, we do not, it
We
doesn't
don't-
work in our favor.
Oh,
So every bus that we add, we have to pay for.
well, I understand that, but I mean, if we reduce a bus, I don't think we should have to pay for it. I think they should reduce our contract by that much money.
We'd have to send out a new RFP.
Yeah, and we don't have, once again, they're the only game in town right now, and as Tom mentioned, that it could be worse with the next proposal.
Is that language in both the 4 and 5 year proposals?
Yes, yes.
Well, it's in the RFP, right? They didn't write their own, unless did they send their own proposal, or is it in the RFP?
Well, a lot of it's in the RFP, yes. Yes.
So if it's in the RFP, we can't really change it, right?
Well, why, I guess I don't think we talked about this.
We did not talk about it, no.
How did it get into the contract that we previously had
Yep.
and get written out of it?
So this is our best offer, so if you want to accept it as New Hartford, then accept it.
What happens if they have to reduce? There's a huge sign outside their building looking for bus drivers. Let's say they don't have enough bus drivers and they need to reduce the buses. Then do we have a leg to stand on to reduce our contracted amount?
Yes, we could pressure them if they don't have enough bus drivers. That's a different situation.
Pressure them, or is it actually written in?
It's not written in there, no.
Would that be a breach of contract, or isn't there a number of buses we have contracted?
Yes, there's a number of
So,
buses, yes.
Yeah, we have 11 buses, whatever the number is, right?
10, yes.
10.
Because that was the situation this year, correct, Brian? Where they could
In the
not
beginning,
supply
in the
enough-
beginning, yes.
Yes.
In the beginning.
Where they could
I
not
don't
supply enough bus
love them.
drivers.
I don't love them, but there isn't anybody else. I mean, who else do you go with?
That's right.
Well, who does Canton have? Martell?
I don't even know.
I think it's Martell, and they're right at the bottom of the hill, across from Powder Mill.
So I guess there's a motion on the floor.
I would rather see the contract say that we pay per bus, and then if we decrease one, we get that money back, and we're not paying for buses that we aren't using.
Well, I don't disagree with you, but why would you think we're going to decrease the bus? That's all. I just didn't want to go through the whole exercise again, just in case we decrease the bus, where it seems like, do you have the latest enrollment numbers?
Yeah, it's going up 15 students, yes.
Exactly, right? We're up 15 students.
Right.
So it's not going down.
Just in the event that,
Well, that's enrollment. That's whether students actually take the bus or not.
Again.
So that's an X factor. We don't know.
Well, exactly. We don't know if 10 people are going to take the bus.
Yeah.
We need to redo our whole parking lot to make it more user-friendly, if that's the case. And forget the whole bus contract and redo the parking lot, because it's ridiculous at this point. We got to get kids back on the buses. And then getting rid of the masks will help and start relieving all this fear that everyone's working under right now, but that's a whole different subject.
Brian, the diesel cost, I know that we were paying separately for that. Is that still the?
Yes, that continues. Yep, pay separately, yep.
Okay.
And that is included in that 2.4 million, or that's separate?
That's separate.
All right. Did we get a figure on that?
That's in the budget.
That's in,
That's in our operating.
Operating budget, yeah. That changes year to year depending on how much,
gotcha. Okay.
diesel's going to be.
Okay. So, I don't know, I think we have a difficult decision in front of us on what to do here.
so you don't remember if it's in the RFP that we were paying per bus or a bulk rate, I guess is the word?
They decided to give us terms that if we reduce a bus, we don't get that reduction.
We can't say to
They
them,
have us over a barrel.
No, we don't really have a leg to stand on. Beggars can't be choosers.
I know, but
We wish that wasn't the case. We hope that wasn't the case, but
And this is a first read, right? So there's,
No, we make a decision on it
decision.
tonight.
Well, what we're discussing is our risk if we lower a bus, which,
And I-
what,
I'm sorry, and I think you have to think about it, right, is if they qualified their bid, I think legally you can disqualify them. But where are you going? Right? Where are you going after that? We're in the same boat, right?
Mhm.
you can't say then we'll sign it, but you need to change this language?
Not in our RFP.
Oh.
Unless each of us buys a bus.
Okay,
Mhm.
well, I mean, again, like, but we may have the need for one more bus or two more buses, but with only 3 kids on it. The route is the route.
yeah.
Mhm.
I don't think we're gonna be adding routes though, are we? I don't know.
I don't
I
know.
mean,
I don't think we'll be adding, but will we be subtracting? I don't know. I didn't think we would this year, and we did. You know?
Maybe
So,
we can combine some.
well, this was a very unique year because of COVID-19.
I
A lot
realize
of
that.
parents were driving kids, so.
I know, I've been up here when the parents are lining the road almost down past the fire station, waiting.
But in a normal circumstance, the routes were pretty tight, right?
Yes.
I mean,
so is the RFP based off of our current
Yes. our current-
buses
yes,
or
Our current buses.
pre-COVID buses?
Current buses.
Current buses.
Current buses, but when I say current buses, I mean pre-COVID.
Pre-COVID?
Yes,
Okay. So plus 1 over what we're running right now?
that's right. We have 9, so we'll be back to 10.
Okay. Further questions or discussion? So there's a motion on the floor to approve datco bus contract for a 4-year contract in the amount of $2,424,135. That's right, Tom?
well, and we should say we allow Brian, I should make, my motion was probably incorrect, we should allow Brian to enter the contract. We're not approving the contract, so that motion was probably incorrect. I'm gonna withdraw that
Okay.
and rephrase it,
Okay.
so it's accurate. So I make a motion that we allow Brian to enter into a contract with datco for 4 years at $2,424,135.
Is there a second on that motion?
Second.
Tim seconds. Any further discussions or questions?
So if we decide not to approve this right now, that means we're not going to sign it. We're not going to allow Brian to enter this contract right now. We'd have to be for further discussion between either the subcommittee or the full board.
Correct.
So that's clear for everyone.
Correct. If we do not approve this, we essentially will have to look at going back out to bid.
Or we can approve it at the next meeting
Or-
for further discussion. But
Correct.
Is there a time limit on there? Is there a proposal expiration date on their proposal, Brian?
No, but I recommend that we make a decision as soon as possible,
When does our contract run out?
June 30th.
Oh, okay.
So let's just do it tonight. Get it over with.
Okay. Any further discussion or questions? All those in favor? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Opposed? Abstain? Motion passes. Okay. Thank you to the Plant Facility Transportation Subcommittee for reviewing that. I know it's not easy. So we'll move into School Community Relations and Policy Subcommittee with a review of 4 policies. 3 of them are our second read, and the final one is our first read, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Think through these quick. So P1331A, which is community relations, use of school facilities. On that first page, the only changes we made were we added "and alcohol are prohibited." That's the only change we made on this one. I'll let you guys read through that.
Okay. Is there a motion to approve policy P1331, use of school facilities?
So moved.
Tim moves, Mary with the second. Any discussion on that policy? All those in favor? Aye. That's unanimous.
Next one, P5114A, this is, has to do with suspension and expulsion and due process. We had talked about this, Brian really wants to just kind of go over if we made any changes. So on this policy, is this the one? Yeah. The only change we made was, if you go to R5114C, under expulsion, we just took out the 12, obviously because we only go up through grade 6 and just changed it to 6th grade. So it's grades 3 through, it reads grades 3 through 6 rather than grades 3 through 12. And that was the only change. And again, it's a second read, so.
Is there a motion to approve policy 5114, suspension and expulsion / due process?
I'll make that motion.
Mary motions, is there a second?
I'll second.
Heather seconds. Any further discussion or questions?
Okay.
Hearing none, all those in favor? Aye. That's unanimous.
And the next one, P4118.112, this is sex discrimination and sexual harassment in the workplace. On that first page, we just added the New Hartford Board of Education. So it actually said our name. And then the other change, if you go to R4118.112E, under Title IX coordinator, we added the words New Hartford, and then we also added Barbara McLean's name as the coordinator. And then at the very end, at the very end, the very last page, we added her name again as well. That's it.
Is there a motion to approve policy 4118.112, sex discrimination and sexual harassment in the workplace?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Mary motions, Heather seconds. Any discussion or questions? Hearing none, all those in favor? Penny, are you?
I'm sorry, I did raise my hand.
I didn't turn in time. That's unanimous. Thank you. And then this final one is our first read.
Yes. So this is P5131.911. This is all about bullying prevention and intervention. We, as a committee, went around and around with this middle paragraph. And I know Heather had some concerns with it. Brian ended up consulting with the attorney, and it was suggested that we keep the language the way Cave intended it to read. So no changes were made. So everything that you see that's crossed out is what Cave wanted to remove.
So you're removing it?
Yep.
Okay.
We were a little shocked that they wanted to take out so much of the language. But,
I think you can kind of see why.
well, why? You tell me why.
It refers to a lot of, gray area, I guess.
Very agree.
Any other changes that they make? It looks like on 5131.911B, same language. Yeah. Basically the same stuff.
Yeah. The only thing we made a change on was our 5131.911E. We just crossed out the or principals designee. That was the only change we made.
Does anybody have any questions or recommended changes to this policy? This is our first read. We'll review it and finalize it at our next meeting.
So where these crossouts, arcade crossouts, where did the original language come from then?
Previous
Original
policy.
language is from our policy. This is, with the new policy, this is removed. Recommended to be removed.
So Cade reviews our policies?
Yes.
and Scratches them off?
Yes,
Is that how that?
absolutely, because it follows the state legislature and their new updated bullying policy here.
But at some point, someone wrote that other than New Hartford people, I would imagine. That's all, that's my question.
I
Yeah,
think Cave
absolutely.
did, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
CAPE did it
So-
before because the bullying policy has been updated several times over the
Right.
last few years.
No, I know. I'm
Yeah.
just wondering where,
Yes,
is
so
Cave
CAPE,
updating Cave's policies and they're showing us?
yes, Yep.
Correct.
which is based on the law, yes.
Well, we struggled with a little bit. I mean, I know, Tim, you said it was gray area, but there's so much removed that, is that putting us in jeopardy? If something were to happen, like, I mean, they're taking out a lot here, but.
I don't think it puts us in jeopardy. I think as a school, it protects the school in the event that something happens. I think it removes the protection of the student and the parent, in my personal opinion. I feel like this just gives.
But in turn, that can actually,
I mean,
come back to bite us.
if I'm having my school hat on to protect the school and the teachers and everything, then I would probably approve it because it gives a giant rug to shove everything under and hope no one trips over it. As a parent who's had issues with bullying and with my child, I look at that and I think, absolutely not. I used that specific guidelines for myself to get me through the process. So I mean, they're even changing the title of the law. They've actually removed the word bullying and make it an act concerning school climate. Like, I don't know, when we went through it, we took what CAVE wanted and we also kept what we currently had, making it a happy medium. And the attorney said no, or they suggested that we don't do it. So then we're left back with just basic generic.
It's very broad,
Yeah.
right,
Yeah.
that's,
which is probably purposely done.
Oh,
Right.
absolutely. And that's where I'm really struggling with, what hat do I throw on here? And that was my whole platform when I ran for the Board of Ed, is that I'm here for the children and I'm here for the teachers. So I have to. And unfortunately, I've had the experience. Had I not, I probably would have checked off on it.
So is there any changes or recommendations that anybody would like to suggest to the policy subcommittee before we approve this at our next meeting?
Do you think, to be consistent, Kelly, in that first line where it says the New Hartford Board of Education, the word board should be in parentheses like it is on the other policies? For instance, this policy here.
we could.
I mean, I would
I
think,
almost don't feel like you need the word board in there,
No,
in
but-
parentheses, but,
Oh, it's
well,
written
it's
elsewhere.
because
Yeah, it
later
is.
on,
all right, well, then we can do that.
later on in the bullying policy, later on, it refers to the board. And then you would know who. It's just whatever.
So what
Yeah,
about, so what
semantics.
about P, like then, when you look at P5114A, it just says Board of Education. Do
It
you
should have
want,
said, it
do
should
you
have
want
said
it
New
to read New
Hartford.
Hartford and be more consistent?
No, we've approved that policy, so that's over.
You'll have to do it the next time.
Okay, okay,
Just
All
try to
right.
be consistent.
okay, all right.
But
So
don't-
which one did you show me that one again?
Any other questions?
You don't have to change
Comments?
it.
Yeah, we will.
It's just a suggestion.
Why not? Minor.
And
Okay,
then put all the other stuff in about bullying.
I'm not getting involved in that.
All right, if there is nothing else, we will move on. Everybody's good?
Yep.
Okay. So at this point, we will enter executive session and invite Superintendent Murphy to join us as we perform the superintendent's evaluation. So I'll ask everybody to collect your belongings and exit the room. Thank you for coming. Is there a motion to do so?